Growth mindset is extremely important because it is helping the child and the teacher and the adult, like that I still have, I can grow, I can change, I can work better. It's all right to fail. Because what is important is we are trying to contain a child in the school.
Welcome to the Learning Circle, the ultimate video podcast for educators and parents who want to unleash the full potential of children. Join us as we explore the fascinating world of learning with the help of thought leaders who will share their knowledge and stories with us. This is your host Kavleen Kaur, and I'm excited to take you on this journey. Get ready to be inspired, informed, and entertained. Have you ever wondered how a shift in mindset can unlock a world of possibilities? If yes, then today we have the privilege of diving into this fascinating topic with an exceptional educational leader who has empowered countless teachers on their journey of growth and excellence. Join us as we embark on a transformative exploration, delving into the secrets of cultivating a growth mindset, unleashing the potential of educators, and thereby igniting a profound shift in classrooms and beyond. And guiding us on this enlightening journey is our distinguished speaker, Ms Shalini Nambiar, ma'am, Director Principal, Seth Anandram Jaipuria School, Vasundhara. She has a rich 28 plus years of experience in education with various educational groups, including the new Nordic School, Finland, which helped her in gaining insights into the world's best education systems. Her vision and wisdom find roots in her attempt to break stereotypes in education. She strongly believes that education, when imparted in its true spirit, has the power to change the world. In recognition of her pioneering ideas and beliefs, awards and laurels keep coming her way. She has been covered by a leading magazine suburb as one of the four most influential women in Gurgaon. Her varied interest includes adventure sports, mountaineering, writing, and music. Ma'am, it's truly an honor to have you as our esteemed guest speaker today.
Thank you so much for such a warm welcome. Thank you so much. I'm also looking forward.
Yes, indeed, ma'am. I hope that we are able to gather a lot of insights from you today. So, to
Sure.
begin, I would request you to help us understand the concept of a growth mindset and its significance in personal and professional development for everyone and especially the students. So, why is it important for students to cultivate a growth mindset?
So I think first and foremost, let me tell you in a very, very simple terms, growth mindset is, understanding that abilities and intelligence can be developed. So if we go back and if we look at the history of how this term actually came into being, so there is this person by the name of Carol Dweck. Some 30 years back, these colleagues, they started researching, because in the research started, it's very interesting, because in a math class they gave two groups of children. They divided the children into two groups, and one group was told about how the mind develops and all that, and the other person, what they called it, the control group, which was given certain clear instructions. This is what has to be done, and this group was allowed to do research. And what really happened is the people with the control group, they actually did not grow, and their grades started falling. But the children with the, who were given to do research and growth mindset, so basically what the concept is that, we believe, I mean, you must have seen there's so much of frustration all around, that, okay, if you remember this Onida ad some years back, Onida TV, it was a very beautiful ad. It was based on a psychological aspect of a mindset when it said, the line was, neighbors envy, owners pride. So what happens is, people with fixed mindset actually make it very difficult, not only for themselves, but for everybody around. Now, growth mindset is extremely important because it is helping the child and the teacher and the adult, like that I still have, I can grow, I can change, I can work better. It's all right to fail. Because What is important is we are trying to contain a child in the school. That, you have to, like, you must have seen the famous dialogue, Sharma ji ke bete ke marks kitne hain. वो एक marks पे हम अटक जाते हैं. We don't let the child think that his brain can, give you a little example to make you understand. Have you seen a baby? कोई बेबी को नहीं बोलता, ओ माय गॉड, इसको चलना नहीं आता, इसको बोलना नहीं आता. द बेबी learns everything. He falls, he truffles, he gets hurt, he or she, whatever, but the baby keeps growing. And that is exactly, in very simple terms, the growth mindset, where you're willing to change, where you believe that, what you were doing for so many years maybe will not hold true today. Like, let's say a classroom. You visit any school in the country, any school in the country. Forget about the 20% of the progressive schools, which are very, very handful. You can count them on your fingers. The classrooms, the seating is still how we used to sit 40 years back. There is no change.
Right.
This is happening, and especially, so you need to have a growth mindset. Growth mindset means ability to change, ability to think differently. Because if I don't have a growth mindset, let me tell you very honestly, I'm not going to encourage my teachers. If I don't encourage them, they will in turn not encourage the kids. So it's like filtering from the top. If I'm going to have a fixed mindset and I say, okay, I give instruction, okay, this is the way it has to be done, she'll also do the same thing. She'll go and tell the kids. What will happen? The future generation, the children will think, and that is why the number of suicide after grade 12 exams is on the rise, because children are made to believe in the 12 years that if I do not get this percentage, I'm a failure. So we are actually closing their minds, that is a huge difference. So simple line, what Carol Dweck said, is that ability and intelligence can change with hard work and dedication.
Right, right. Thanks for sharing that, ma'am. And you shared wonderful examples also. So, if I understand it correctly, growth mindset is basically the ability to change, and that would involve, first of all, giving up the fear of failure, and then being willing to change. Right?
Yes.
As you said, it is important for all students, and it would come from the teachers and from the educational leadership. So that brings us to the next question, that, in the context of teaching and educational leadership, how would you define this growth mindset? Because, I understand ability to change and willingness to change would continue there also. But what would be are there different nuances when we talk about the teaching staff? They also have to help monitor the growth mindset of children. They have to have the ability to do so. So in the context of teaching, how would we address this?
So let's take, I'll give you very, very simple examples, because I want to pick up examples so that people understand right from what is happening around. So let's say there is a teacher who has a fixed mindset and a teacher who has a growth mindset. So fixed mindset teacher will not be willing to write a formative remark when she's checking a notebook, because she'll say it doesn't help them to improve. While a growth mindset teacher will say, why not give a structured feedback? Because maybe it will help the child to bring about an improvement on whatever the kind of work they are doing. Let's say a fixed mindset. If a teacher is checking, and there are a lot of, we love checking with red pen. I hate it. I think the checking should be done with colored pen, because red in any case is a color of danger.
Right.
It anyway demotivates you. And I have in my life as a teacher never used a red pen, because it really, so in India, this is again a fixed mindset. Let me talk. This is very interesting, and I'm just dying to say it. So there is a mindset, green pen principle, black pen, nobody can use a green pen. And I'm honestly telling you, on my table, you will find all black pens. I don't know, I don't know why I can't use color. Why can't I use a pink pen? It's my personal choice. So we have a very fixed mindset. We have associated, imagine, colors with the position you are in. What does it show? We are not willing to change. So educators, they have a lot to look forward to, that how they can change. So one, I told you the example. Other one, if I want to say, is that, look at all the red marks. The teacher The child thinks the teacher hates me. I guess I can never do better than this. Now, a growth mindset student, he will say, wow, these comments which the teacher has put in so much effort, they will help me to improve. So, what is important is to understand that there are two mindsets. Okay, it is crucial to remember. One is fixed and one is growth. What is extremely crucial as a leader, as a teacher to remember, you have a choice at any time which mindset you want to use, right? You have a choice. What is the kind of thought process you have? See, everyone is born a learner. We believe very strongly that every child is talented, and you will see, as I gave an example, baby push themselves to do, extremely challenging work. So what changes when these babies, they grow up? What do you think changes? The fear which adults put in them, the fear of failure. We are the ones, see, I always find it very funny, like in a 4-year-old kid is taught how to paint inside a flower or inside a triangle. Again, fixed mindset.
Right.
Telling him, and then when he grows up as an adult, we say, you need to think out of the box. The child can say, you taught me how to paint inside the box. You never allowed me to be creative, to be imaginative. I
Right.
want to tell you a very beautiful story which will help you understand how educators with a fixed mindset are actually destroying the child's creativity. So there is a little boy who's I think it's written by somebody, I don't remember the name. It's my favorite. So this kid is studying in a small village school, and he goes to the school. There's an art class happening. So the teacher says, "Okay, let's draw." The kid is very excited, so he starts drawing. The teacher says, "Let's color." He starts coloring. He's very excited because he's allowed to do things himself. He's allowed to think the kind of flower he wants to make, and he loves it because all children are born talented. So his dad, after 4 or 5 years, gets transferred to this big city. He goes to a big school. And again, in that big school, there is an art class happening. So the teacher says, let's draw. He starts drawing. The teacher says, no, stop. I'll tell you what to draw. And you can very well relate it because I have grown up with the teacher drawing on the board a flower and we had to copy it. You remember?
It
So
has to
this
be the
child,
same flower.
yeah. So the child is forced to copy that. Then he says, okay, the teacher says, let's color. He starts coloring. The teacher says, no, I'll tell you which color. And if you remember, we all grew up thinking the rows are red and leaves are green. In fact, you wouldn't believe I'm a mountaineer. So when I went on the mountains and I saw blue flowers, I was shocked because we had never told that.
Yeah.
So this kid went on in this school for some time, and finally after 5, 6 years, he goes back to his old school in the small village. And again, there's an art class. The teacher says, let's draw. And the child says, what? He has forgotten to think. So what is important if we want children to succeed is to change our mindset. We cannot have fixed mindset. I'll give you another very personal example. I was a teacher of social studies. I had a student, the usual CBSE question, how many planets are there? Now, that time, there were 9 planets, and he wrote 8 planets. Now, I didn't know whether to mark it correct or wrong, because in the book said 9 planets, but he told me that Pluto will not be a planet.
It has to be. Yeah.
So, if I had a fixed mindset, I would have marked it wrong. I had a growth mindset. I encouraged the kids to think creatively, and I said, oh, wow, maybe this comes true later. And it did. So children have a capability and ability, and as educators, and that is what is very important for me. I mean, I'm very passionate about this profession because if you talk about money, I was doing very well, in my airlines, but I shifted because I just want to change the system, change the mindset, the thought process. We waste so much time on doing things which are not so relevant for teachers. Teaching is all about passion, about making a difference, about letting a child explore. So, growth mindset teacher, how will she change the classroom environment? Very simple. She will allow her children to question more. She will not have a fixed mindset, oh, you don't even know this much. She will allow them to question. She will allow them to formulate their own answers rather than copying from the book or from the board. She will allow the children to collaborate and do their own innovative way of working, or, on whatever. She will allow a child. See, remember one thing, we are in the 21st century, right? When we give a homework, and I will not say that I am able to achieve, because again, I'm trying to change the mindset. It's very difficult. If I'm giving, you and me are on this platform, if both of us are given homework, you have different strengths, I have different strengths. Why me and you have to do the homework in the same way? Why
Right.
can't I record a video and send and you write or you draw? So a growth mindset teacher will allow the children to have that choice. So what happens when there is a teacher who has changed, who's changing her mindset? There will be a lot of influx of knowledge. Children will be more, I think, more confident, more whatever the skills we want to teach them. I think there'll be a huge difference.
Right. Lot of insights there, ma'am, with the examples which really helped at least me understand this concept better. So I think I also have a sort of an eye opener here. I entered this conversation thinking that, we have to help children develop this growth mindset. But as you
Yeah,
pointed out in the example of a baby, he already has that growth mindset. All
yeah,
children
yeah,
have the growth mindset. It is only that,
yeah,
we condition them out of it. So the
yeah,
educators and probably the parents, all of us have to be trained to, develop this growth mindset in ourselves, and then, all these strategies that you have shared, follow those so that we don't curb the growth mindset, the creativity, and the passion of kids. So you mentioned 3 points that this educators should allow more questions, open questions. They should allow the children to formulate their own answers. And third, you share that the educators should allow children
yeah,
to collaborate and have a choice in how and what they want to attempt. So these are
yeah.
very specific, practical ways that educators can implement in
Right.
their classrooms, right? So thanks for
Sure.
sharing that, ma'am. But at the educational leadership level, do
Yeah.
I would request you to suggest some ways in which we can have a encompassing culture of growth mindset, so that all teachers are also encouraged to follow this, because these strategies, if they are implemented at just one class level, that may not help, right? And then there would be more obstacles. So if they are implemented at a more global educational institute level, they would help. So how can educational leaders set up a culture for growth mindset?
I think it is very, very important to firstly have the right kind of leaders in education, because we forget they make a lot of difference. And it's not, you cannot, what is important for me, very important for me, that what is the whole purpose of a school? The whole purpose of a school is, like today, I'm very proud of my school. You don't know whether I passed 12th, you don't know my marks. All you are seeing is what you can view right now are my skills of communication, my language skill, my confidence, my body language. See, what do you notice? These are the things only you notice,
Yeah.
right? And this is what is very, very important. So, what is important as a leader is how do you change the culture of the organization? In fact, yesterday only I was writing an article, and I was so excited about it. So, the first very important thing is empower the teachers. Empowering them means giving them, okay, give them the timetable. Of course, in a school, there needs to be systems, there needs to be things, but empowering them meaning, okay, if the teacher says, I can't teach number one, I want to try number two, okay, go ahead, do it.
Yeah.
Let them try new things. So when you allow an individual to try new things, they feel more confident. Develop a culture of praising. It's not that foolish praise, empty praises. No. If somebody does a good job, it's very important to appreciate. Maybe send a personalized card, or like we have introduced, like birthday cards, birthday greetings. Today is the world of email. At least, how long does it take? Put their pictures on the school board. Okay, these are the girls who have their birthdays. I've been probably wanting my whole life to see my picture on a school board. Very simple things, very, very simple things. Third, very important, be available for them. Principals do not have time for teachers, and they forget. A school can run without a school head, agreed? but a school cannot run without a teacher.
Right. Right.
So they are the most critical people in the entire school, map or whatever you may call it. You need to give them time, be ready to listen to them. When they come with suggestions, encourage them to come with new ideas, new thoughts, innovative ways. Put a collaborative period for them within the timetable, so that they get time to engage with each other, understand, because that peer learning is very, very important. There are so many simple things you can do. How will a teacher have a growth mindset? Okay, I mean, especially in the early years, till grade 2 or 3, when you have one teacher who is teaching home teacher concept. See, I did work with Finland, where the home teacher concept is till grade 5. I worked with the Montessori system of US, where the home teacher concept is till grade 8. It's only because they feel the specialized teacher only come in for subjects like English or Hindi. Any other teacher is able to teach all the subjects. And what helps in that is that the teacher knows the child very well. So if a child is not good in English, oh my God, this kid is very good in math. So she can use the positive strength of a child to make the child do better in the subject in which he or she is lacking. So what is important is, if you are a home teacher till grade 2, one very important thing which you can do to develop a growth mindset amongst the children, because if a teachers have, then only they can do.
Yes.
Like I'm saying, as a school leader, give teachers a choice. Give teachers a choice. Give them challenges. I'll give you, just today morning, I had a conversation. So there is a teacher who's taking grade 10 first time. And we were looking for a hire. We hired another person who has got experience. So the thought process of everybody runs is, let's put the experienced one. Take away that important class from the teacher who's been given the first time. But I said no. If nobody had given me a chance without experience, I probably would not have reached here. So that is a growth mindset. Fear of failure has to be taken out from your mind. What will happen? You can train. If you're a good leader, you will train the teacher. You will give us strategies. So what a home teacher can do, which really helps, is give children a choice. You want to do English or you want to do math? Let the children decide. If the children says, okay, I want to do math, okay, then later we'll do English. We are teaching them the skills of responsibility, accountability, decision-making, confidence, trust. Trust your team. When you trust your team, I think it anyway leads to a growth mindset. Celebrations are very important. Why a school head has to be always, in an ivory tower, very tough? No, you need to be on the ground with your teachers. You need to be dancing with them. You need to be singing with them. You need to really have fun with them. And I think that is what helps in changing the culture, because the culture of the school is very important for changing the mindset. Otherwise, it will not change. So, like I'll tell you, a very simple thing with me. So I've been in the education now for almost 29, 30 years. If a teacher comes to me and says, I want to leave, I usually do not question.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people tell me that the person might take advantage. I said, no, she won't take advantage. 10% people will anyway take advantage.
Yeah.
Why should I spoil my mood by questioning everybody? If she's a mature person, she's aware of her. I don't think so. Anybody will let you down. But what happens in that process, it develops a culture of trust. That, okay, it's such a great thing. Now, if your boss trusts you, I mean, you tell me how you feel. Wow, I can do anything then. Encouragement is very, very important. Allowing teachers to fail. They may not succeed at the first go. Teaching them, okay, fine, you can learn with it. It's all right. You can do it again, try it again. So changing the culture of the entire school, I think, is very dependent on the school leader. And smaller strategies, very, very small, giving a smile to your teacher, telling them, wow, you're looking good. How long does it take? Having an open atmosphere, I think, is very important.
Yes, yes. And you share 2 examples from your end, and that clearly indicates that you embody an educational leadership who actually works in creating a growth mindset culture and not just focus on specific instances.
My simple agenda is people should be happy.
Right, right.
That's very important for me.
Right, ma'am. And once they are happy, when they have trust, then when they feel that the leadership has trust in them, then I think they develop an ownership for their
Yeah,
own teaching. And that happens.
absolutely.
I think students also, when they are trusted, their choices are allowed, then they develop ownership for their own learning. The learning is deeper.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
as you have mentioned, all the points, how the growth mindset has to be developed in students and in teachers, they sort of overlap, you know. So what the educational leadership transfers to the teacher would then transfer to the
absolutely.
student. So that is wonderful, ma'am. I would definitely like to read your article that you had mentioned you were
Sure,
working
sure,
on. So I would
sure.
request you to
Yeah,
share that.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Also, in the beginning, you mentioned about a research on some control group and a group which was allowed to have a growth mindset. So, I would request if you can share later on a reference for that research. Our
Sure, sure,
audience
sure.
would benefit from that. Uh,
I'll do that.
yeah. And you have already shared a lot of examples and success stories on how this has positively impacted the teachers and students. Is there any other, probably a global success stories you would like to share on how this growth mindset has really benefited students? And probably, and another thing, associated thing would be that, how do we assess qualitatively or through reflective methods, how do we
Yeah.
access that there is this constant growth happening in the growth mindset, if I use
Yeah.
that definition, because it's a sort of a skill which may not be conducive for quantitative evaluation, but yes,
Yeah.
there should be some measures through which we can gain the success parameters.
I think if we come to assessment, I think the best way is to do it with rubrics, which are created in collaboration either with the teacher or with the students, whoever you're trying to assess. Sorry. Another very important way is to take feedback. Conduct a feedback survey. How are you feeling? Because then you get to know the pulse of the school. And as a school leader, you can probably work on those areas which you feel, people are not happy or which is restricting their change in the thought process. Because see, when you go on a mission like this, that changing the mindset of people, it takes time.
Right.
It's not going to happen suddenly. Like I'll tell you, my discipline philosophy is if any kid walks into my room,
Hmm.
anybody, I'm not going to let them stand. I don't want to let them grow with the thought that, oh, I am the, supreme authority in the school and you better stand. No, please sit down. I think it's sheer that, we need to change that. So, what happens when I make a kid or a teacher sit down? They develop confidence. They develop that skill that, okay, I don't need to be scared of the person on the other side of the table. So, giving them skills when they start working,
Hmm.
they develop that skill of being able to honestly share their emotions and feelings with the person on the other side of the table. Most of the time, we do not achieve what we set out to because of our presumptuous nature, and the presumptuous nature comes from voices talking in our head to us ourselves, but not being able to question or talk. And I feel very strongly, if you even if you want to say I love you, say it. What will happen worst is the person may refuse, but at least take it out from your mind. And this is again a sign of growth mindset, that you let it out. You ask your question. Maybe you don't reach what you want, maybe you don't get what you want, but at least then you know exactly where you are. I'll give you a little example how this mindset. So there was a group of teachers I had taken. We went for this off-site trip. This is around 10, 15 years back, and as a part, this was a part of a team bonding exercise. And a part of that exercise, we had bungee jumping.
Okay.
Now everybody was scared because we have to fall deep down, and they were really, teachers, with kids and all how they are. But for me, it is very important to let the child in them come out. So, and everybody was scared. And after every day after that, we would do a reflection workshop, kind like why we did it or what you did or whatever, because it helps teachers to really develop a changed mindset. So there was only this one teacher who did it. And small little girl, I still remember, who used to teach Hindi. Nobody knew her name. She was very insignificant. Some people don't talk much and they're very, very quiet. So nobody really knows them. So when we did the reflection activity, we said, like, how come you did it? What happened? I mean, you are so quiet and all. You know what she said? She said, I want people to know me. I knew that when I do this, everybody will know me. So now I think something encouraged her, something about that culture, that surrounding encouraged her. So, same thing with adults, same thing with children. When children come to you and say, okay, I can't, I'll tell you an incident which happened. There was this girl who had come to me, she had migraines because she did not do well in her board exams, and her schools were not taking her, and she was very, very depressed, high on depression. I said, I'll take you and I'm going to work on you. Today she's a lawyer, but you have to, only thing I did, I didn't do wonders in her intelligence. All I did, she changed all that herself. All I did was gave her a pat, gave her a hug, and said, listen, I believe in you.
Yeah.
I know you can do it. Now, this line is very important.
Yes.
People must realize it's important. If somebody was to tell me, listen, I believe in you, I know you can do it, I'm telling you honestly, I will work 48 hours. I will work like, won't even sleep, because that motivation, the release of hormones with that positivity in our body encourages us to work. But what we do is make people stressed out. So
Right.
I think it's very important that develop a culture of growth mindset, especially if you want to change the way education is at the moment. Like I work with the Finnish system. Now, growth mindset is an intricate part of their curriculum. So the teachers are trained, like, okay, if you're doing something, if a child fails, okay, sweetheart, try again. Never mind. See, what do we do in a test? We give a test.
Yes.
Simple, really. We mark the child wrong because we love marking wrong, right? Finished. That's your life over. Why not give him a test after test after test till he, what is the purpose of a test? That he should excel.
Right.
To make him excel, okay, fine, sweetheart, go home, and I'm doing that here. But some people do it, some won't. So what is important is the purpose of testing is not to test his knowledge, but to also test his knowledge and make him improve. He can only improve if you give him a chance. If you don't give him a chance and close the chapter, okay, term one over, now you've failed, finished. How will he learn?
Right.
Then he grows into an adult carrying all those problems with him. You
Right.
know,
Right.
nobody spent time and said, listen, you can do it. So I think it's very important to change the way we work. I think so.
Yes, yes. Really, two important things you shared that there, ma'am. First is that a child, not doing well in exam should be always given a chance to, retake the test or work on his skills, and that is a very good part of assessment, which I think should not be to compare a child with other with his peers,
Yeah.
but to actually see his growth, day by day, or in various semesters. So this is a constant. There should be a trajectory of constant growth. And
Yeah.
then the second part is this sentence, I believe in you. I think that is an important sentence which should,
Yeah.
like you said, it should come down from the educational leadership to the teachers, and from teachers to the individual
See,
students.
why we don't believe in people? I'll tell you. And really, we don't believe in people because we don't want to change. We are in a comfort zone. See, it's all right to have somebody with 60 years of experience. We are very comfortable, right? The person knows. It's how many people give a chance to a young person. So, in fact, I was, let me tell you, sorry, my eyes, there's some problem. I was having a chat with somebody. The biggest fear for education, which every educator should be on the lookout for in the next 10 years, where will you get teachers? No youth wants to get into teaching.
Yeah, that's
They,
funny. Yes.
it's a big fear which we are not talking about. We are talking about changes, but where are those teachers? You give an ad, we talk about the quality of teachers, so we really need to first and foremost encourage the youth to take up this profession.
Right, right. That's a very powerful point, and that needs much discussion at the, at various levels, and not just at one
Absolutely.
school, but probably
Absolutely.
at
Yeah.
the level of our national policy. But coming back to the sentence of "I believe in you" being said to others, um I believe in you, I think, is an important sentence that we should say to ourselves also, probably every morning. Like you said,
Yeah.
there are voices in our head which tell us, which keep on doing this negative,
Yeah.
transactions with ourselves. So I believe in you is something that is needed by the others and also by the individuals, right?
Absolutely.
A lot of interesting insights there, and not just the insights, the practical ways also, to actually
See, you get up in the morning and you've had a very bad day. I mean, we have our good days and bad days.
yeah.
And, you should always do something which you love.
Mm.
I feel, we do not give time to our hobbies, our passion. We get so involved in the work that we forget. Like, I mean, I travel a lot because I stay far off from my place of work. But still, I go back, but I'm determined that I will do my 30 minutes of aerobics. In the morning, I will go for my 20 minutes of run. It's a matter of discipline. And when I run or when I'm doing my exercise, I'm honestly telling my mind is blank. That's the only time, that yogic thing, when your mind is empty and you're free. And it gives you, releases hormones in your body which make you so positive. And I always tell kids also that when you are down or when you're low or when you're troubled, just close your eyes and tell yourself, listen, I can do it. Even saying that with so much strength and power gives you so much energy. Maybe you can't do it, but the sudden influx of those hormones in your brain and your, I mean, whatever it is called, I don't know the biological term, but it really motivates you.
Yeah.
It really,
Yeah.
sometimes, like, we all go through those life's troubles, and some moments are not so happy. I always, I mean, this, my dad, see, we saw that movie Three Idiots. That actually works. All is well. It works.
Yes.
So it is, I think, that self-affirmation. So when you're talking about growth mindset, how will I have a growth mindset? At least tell yourself, okay, I'm going to have an open mindset. It helps.
Yes.
So I think it's very, very important.
Yeah, there is this important discipline of neuroplasticity, which talks
Yeah.
about we humans, the neuron connections are not fixed; they keep on changing,
Yeah.
even in adulthood. We normally say that I am of this particular age, and this is how I have always done things, and this is how it is going
Oh,
to
that's
be.
huge.
That is,
Yeah.
yeah, that is not the right attitude.
Yeah.
And especially we value experience, and rightly so, but then with
Yeah.
experience we also should be maintain a bit of flexibility, and it's very empowering to see that such a you as such an experienced leader also talking about incorporating all these changes and being open to younger teachers opinions, and even the opinions of students. So
It's
that's,
very important.
yes, it is very important. Ma'am, is there we have our new education policy. Does it also supports this mindset? Is there any specific recommendation that we have in the policy on this aspect, and and what is the status of the implementation so far on this?
So, see, new education policy, let's begin with this, is a fantastic document. It's just fantastic. I've read it 5 times because I wanted to really, breathe it, because it was the dream of every educator, which has come true. I mean, a true educator who has been waiting for so many years. It's absolutely brilliant. Second thing, where are we in its implementation? I don't know. Because we need to really, and for that, I mean, to implement NEP, you need a change in the mindset.
Yes.
Are you willing to integrate all the subjects? Are you willing to spend that much time? Are you willing to give time to your teachers for collaboration? Are you willing to take away the paperwork from your teacher and let her focus on teaching? Are we willing to allow a child in grade 12 to take history with music or history with physics? Are we ready for it? I don't know. It's not only the school, it's the parental mindset, it's the society's mindset. I mean, I can tell you with confidence, let's not talk about the 15 to 20% progressive towns or metropolitans in our country. Let's look at the mainstream student population where every parent, that used to happen when we were kids. There were only three professions:
Yeah.
doctor, engineer, failure. So I was a failure because I didn't become a doctor or an engineer. But that is still prevalent. That is still prevalent. So, what is it needed? NEP is a beautiful document. Let's do it. I really feel that it should be implemented, but we are very far. Are we ready to focus on assessments which are, more diagnostic in nature? Are we ready to do that? Do we have the teachers who are qualified to do that? Do we know how to create rubrics? There's a lots to be done. But let's keep our fingers crossed that we are able to implement. But to implement that, again, I'm saying you need to change your mindset.
Yes.
So if you do not have a growth mindset, NEP is a far cry.
Yes. So that's an important point, that to implement NEP successfully throughout the country, the most important thing that is required is to come out of the fixed mindset and move towards a growth mindset. Only then the changes that the policy recommends can be implemented. Otherwise, there would be hundreds of impediments to that. And you also mentioned about the involvement of parents. So, what is your recommendation for parents to implement a culture of growth mindset in their
So
home? The parents may not be, trained in as a teacher or as a guiding force, but it is very necessary to have a continuation of this culture in from the school and at home.
I think it is very important to have a structured parental engagement plan for every school. We don't really have, I mean, such things existent in India. I've worked with a lot of different international firms, and there is always a plan for parental engagement. And there is a person who's designated for that. Like I have introduced, you have to have continuous parenting sessions on different topics, not necessarily. See, PTM is not a parent teacher. PTM is not a where you can change the mindset, because remember, parent teacher conferences where a parent is coming, getting to know about his or her child, right? So you need to have, maybe coffee mornings, maybe open houses, maybe parenting sessions by the team or by experts from outside, and career counselors, who make the parents aware. Like, I'll tell you, we did a session recently with the parents. When I spoke about an Instagram influencer making more than a pediatrist, they
Hmm.
didn't know.
Hmm.
When I told them about a radio jockey, the amount of money he makes, a voiceover artist for 10 seconds, they charge 25,000 rupees.
Yes.
So
Yes.
parents are not aware. So as an educator, you can only make them aware if you yourself are upbeat with what is the latest. I mean, if you as a school head, my message to everybody, if you're not on Instagram, you're not on Facebook, then you don't know the youth. And if you don't know the youth, then how are we going to educate them? If I don't know how to make a reel, how am I going to check my kids?
Hmm.
So you have to, this is a profession where you stay young. You
Yes.
need to be upbeat with, you need to be updated of all the latest which is happening, and not shunning. Why there is generation gaps increasing? Because the principals are from another Mars and the children are from Jupiter. You need to close that gap, because see, any education to be make it more effective, or any relationship to be more effective, what is needed? Simple thing. Have a connect. You can only have a connect with the child if you talk the child's language. And when we talk
That's
about growth mindset, another very important point I want to say, you spoke about neuroplasticity, and you see that 90-year-old Japanese lady running for a marathon.
yes.
You see that 105-year-old guy, the lady. I really want to be like that woman. She's the world's, I think, oldest disco jockey.
Hmm.
She's actually doing it. So if you believe in it, you can do it. Age is just a matter, it's in the mind. So I think that is very, very important. But in India, the culture is what I have seen around. We get stuck. Oh, I'm so old, how can I do this? But I think you need to change yourself, especially when you're in the field of education. You need to change your mindset, because then only you can make a difference in whatever you are doing.
Yes, yes. That's very very important that as adults we get into a fixed mindset, especially
Yeah.
about professional choices or even choices at the personal level. If I can just briefly share my experience, I've spent about 16 years in the corporate world, and after that I moved into education, and there were a lot of people who were actually surprised at this move and doubting whether I have done it right or not.
Yeah.
So I still have to see the level of success I had in the corporate world, but that is because I'm still learning. But
Sure.
being open about this journey has, really what is has helped me. And your this really resonates with me. What you say that about people, taking up extreme sports in their later life. So that also shows that a person is open for newer experiences, and that is the essence of growth mindset. So thanks for sharing
Absolutely.
that, ma'am. And a wonderful point you mentioned about having a school having a structural parenting plan, because as you said, PTMs are more or less like status reporting or a one way communication from the school, and then some complaints from the parents about things not happening. So that is how we generally take PTMs. But this concept of there being more structure and there being more guidance coming from the school is really good. So I hope that we see some such practices really happening, because
Sure.
the thoughts are there. So it would be good to put that in practice, so that this growth mindset can continue. So thanks for sharing that, ma'am. And since you've talked about your own personal experience, I would request you to share, you know, uh, a memorable experience or achievement that has a significant impact on shaping you as a person, you as a educational leader, you as a friend.
So I mean, of course, there are many incidents which shaped you, but there are certain things which have leave a very deep impact on you. And I would say there were two. So one was I'm from Dehradun. It's a small town full of schools, and I met somebody when I was in school, somebody from Lady Shriram College, and my dream was very clear. I have to enter this college. So I really worked hard in grade 12 because I knew if I don't get 90 plus, I have no chance of getting into the college. I mean, I put day in and day night together. Again, if you believe in it, you will achieve it. So when I joined Lady Shriram College, I remember my dad coming, mother coming to drop me. And there was one line this my father said, which really impacted all my decisions in life. He said, see, now you are an adult, you're entering college, you'll be in the hostel away from us. Whatever you do, good or bad, will not impact us, will impact you. So think before you do anything. So I think that line, firstly, I mean, it was so much of trust which my parents had in me, which was really nice. And this line really had a deep impact. And I think the second thing is, see, I got into teaching just by chance. It happened by chance. Looking for a school for my daughter, finding school heads very, very tough. So I used to wonder why can't they smile and be like, come on, yaar, you're dealing with kids. चलो घुस जाते हैं, change करते हैं. I mean, I have actually done it when I was with the American school on a children's day. I wore a tie with all the cartoons and done crazy things with kids because that's what children love about you, right? You need to let them see that you need to try it. You need to be innovative yourself, I think. So I think this was my first class. I joined as a music teacher, and I've spoken in various podcasts again of this, but it has an impact on me. So my principal said, no, I think you can teach. So I said, okay, I said, sir, I can't teach. I run away from studies. He said, no, no, you teach. So I went to this class, SST, and spent the whole night working on the props, the 9 planets. And because that time there was no Google, so we had to think what we can do. And went in the class armed like a soldier with all my props, and with full enthusiasm, I taught with my principal sitting at the back. And at the end of the class, when I came back home in the night when I was reflecting, I realized I taught them wrong. I taught them Jupiter was the smallest planet, Pluto was the largest, I mean, whatever. So I went next day, I said, listen, kids, why didn't you tell me? So they said, no, we didn't tell you because you were so full of enthusiasm and passion that we thought, let it go. So it taught me a lot. The most important skill for a teacher is connect with the child. You are not an encyclopedia who's supposed to know anything. But you need to exude that confidence that children love you, then they will bear anything with you.
Yeah.
So it also taught me how careful I have to be of what I teach, because if I have a connect, whatever I say will have an impact on them. They will absorb it like sponges. So I need to be very thorough. I cannot make a mistake in the classroom. So I think these are very important skills. Like when somebody says, how do you hire teachers? Of course, teachers need to have the knowledge. There's no denial on that. But they need to have the skills of connecting with the child. And I always say, if you don't love children, please do not join this profession.
Right. So it's so heartening to see you talking about, I would not say failures, but a few small mistakes that you may have done in your journey at the beginning and learning from there and becoming better at it. And this point about forming a connect with the students and loving the students is, I think, the key to being a
Yeah.
effective and empowered educator. So thanks for sharing that, ma'am. So what is one quote that or a mantra that you live by, you live your life by? There may be
Um,
quite a few, but
this is my favorite. Live each day as if it is your last.
yes, simple
And
yet very powerful.
I wrote a very beautiful article on this. If suppose today was your last day, what is that one thing you will do? There'll be a big queue at the telephone booth
Mm.
because you would be wanting to call so many people and saying, "Hey, I'm sorry, I love you, I like you, I do that." So if you live each day as if tomorrow is not there for you, then you're going to be very happy today.
And you'll not
You will not.
all the things that you love, you will just do them. You know, yeah, that's a powerful And next question, a quick question. If you would recommend one book to your students, which would it be? Because I think books have a
Yeah,
deep impact on each one of us.
yeah. I I read, of course, a lot of books. But for me, my favorite is The Secret. And
Mhm.
I think every individual should read it, because as you sow, so you reap. So what we talk also sometimes, like sometimes in our mind, we say, oh my God, I think I might mess it up. You will mess it up, because the power of our own conversation, the power of our mind, we don't realize it. So The Secret is a beautiful book. And that one line, whatever you want in life, if you really wish for it, the whole universe will come together and help you fulfill that. It can happen. But we doubt ourselves. And that is why, so secret is something, I think if I'm able to imbibe that amongst the kids, I think it will help.
Right. It ties into the voices in our head that we were previously talking about, right? And
Yeah,
that is what either would take us towards a growth mindset or let us be fixed
absolutely.
in whatever place we are at. So
Sure.
that's a wonderful suggestion, ma'am. So the final question is, if there is, you shared a lot of insights, a lot of recommendation. So if there is this one, I would talk about the parents again. If there is one recommendation that you would like to share with the parent, you being a parent and also a leader in the education stream, one thing that you would like to recommend to the parents.
I think very important is believe in your child.
Oh, yes.
I think that I feel most of the parents don't believe in their child. They keep, they live their dreams through them, which is absolutely not right. You should just let your child be. If in the lines of Khalil Gibran, if you remember Gibran or Gibran, whatever way you pronounce it, these children do not belong to you. They come through you, but they are like arrows. So I think it's very important to believe that these children, they will have their own lives, they will have their own thing, and you gave birth to them because of your own selfish desire. You wanted a baby. The baby didn't come and say, hey daddy, please give me birth. Now if you have given them birth, then at least the least you can do is believe in their dreams, because their dreams are not the same as your dreams. Their feelings are different. That generation is different. I think it's extremely important. Like I mean, my son is now 34. My daughter is now 35. And so many times I say, "Hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please forgive me." It's perfectly fine as a parent. I send them a message with a little emoji if we have had, because there are times when you don't agree with each other, but it's all right to ask for forgiveness from your kids, because that teaches them an important value, that we value each other as individuals. So I think believing in your child, trusting them, of course they'll make mistakes, but that's again a growth mindset, right? If they don't make mistakes, how will they learn? So you have to remember, you're not going to be with your child forever. After 30, they have to deal with their own lives. Have you made your kids strong enough to be able to do that? So I think it's very important, that believing in your child.
Right. So it's all about the mindset actually. So that's
Yeah.
the message we
Yeah.
are getting from this whole conversation. So thanks for sharing,
Thank you.
ma'am, your insights, your experiences, examples, and case studies of developing a mindset, why it is important, ways to develop it, some challenges also that we may face on this journey, but the importance of it you have highlighted with the several key examples. So thanks for sharing. We look forward to reading your article on all these aspects. So do share that, ma'am. And
Yeah.
audience, thank you all for listening. I hope our discussion has been valuable for you, with insights that you can implement at your end. And if the audience has any question for Shalini ma'am, please share with us. We will share ma'am's email ID, so you can write to her also. And ma'am, it was truly an honor to have you here. I hope our conversation was interesting for you all as well. Thanks a lot, ma'am, for being here with us.
Thank you so much. You're a lovely host, and I really want to appreciate. It was really like such an informal chat. It was fun. Thank you so much.
Thank,
Thank you.
thank you, ma'am. Thanks.
Okay.